Hi, this is my proposed area for my cut flower garden. It is quite a hill, as you can see. So I just measured out the area, or a area. I don't know if that'll be our final plan. I think it'll be bigger than that. I measured about 50 by 20, which is 1,000 square feet. I don't think that'll be enough, but it's just kind of nice to get out here because this lower portion of our acreage is a little less than an acre. So it's nice to kind of see how much it'll take up, right? Because I think starting with 2,000 square feet or 6,000 square feet of growing space for a cut flower garden would be ideal. So I'm not really throwing myself into too much too soon. Yeah, so I guess just determining what it'll be like. As you can see, we're on a bit of a hill. Not as hilled as up top our property, but definitely there's, going to be some terracing that needs to happen. Which I think looks beautiful. So even though it'll be, a lot more work to start up, it'll be really enjoyable to walk through some nice terrace beds. We do have a small John Deere tractor, which will help us. Otherwise, it'd be nearly impossible to do it in the time frame between now, which is early February, and planting season, which is mid-May. So yeah, this is kind of the area I'm thinking about. We would of course need to fence the majority of the garden, if not all. I'm kind of thinking we fence more than we will use, and then there will be space to, expand. And then outside of the fence, it would be beautiful to put some deer-resistant shrubs that I can cut for foliage. If you have any ideas, let me know. I'm thinking dogwood, 9-bark. There's a lot of them. I don't know. I can't name. There's one that I really, I'll put it in right now, hopefully, in the screen, and then you can see what I'm talking about, because it's stunning. I've never grown it before, and it looks like a good, solid choice for a cut flower garden. So anyway, yeah, this is the area, the proposed area and the proposed plan. We'll see what happens. This area definitely gets the most sun. Right now I'm behind a tree, which is why I'm shaded. But yeah, we will definitely have to take down a few trees. Some are diseased anyway, so you don't feel too bad about getting rid of them. I'll show you a picture of some woodpecker damage. Thankfully, woodpeckers do kind of pick out the diseased trees anyways, but there's a lot of bark damage on one of the fir trees. And then, a couple more we'll have to take out to make sure the garden gets 8 hours of sun. Yeah, so this is it. Hi! I am going to take some cuttings off of some of the fruit trees in my yard to see if I can force some blooms. Why not try and see if you can get some beauty in the winter? So we'll see if this works, and I'll keep you posted along the way. So behind me is my cherry tree. I'm going to snip a couple of branches off there that have like a lot of blooms, and put them in some water, and we'll see what happens. There we go. I've got about 3 beautiful looking branches with quite a few buds on them. Okay, can we see that? So it's a pretty mild day today. It's in the pluses here in Canada. So it's safe to cut, that you're not gonna shock or give frostbite to your fruit trees. So I thought I would give it a try. They're quite beautiful. We ate these last year, and the squirrels did too, actually. It was our first year on this property. We had just moved in last winter, so we didn't know a lot of what we were doing, and I don't know if they got enough water because the cherries were quite small. But once they ripened, they were quite delicious, so not a complete failure, but yeah, lesson learned for sure. Behind me we have some plum trees too, which were delicious. Probably my favorite out of all the ones we have, but unfortunately we had a fir tree that was blocking their sun, so they did not produce more than 5, I want to say, which was too bad. But the evergreen was blocking our vegetable garden, so we took it down, and now hopefully the plum tree will just burst with blooms and produce lots of fruit for us, because they were delicious. So behind me is one of our apple and pear trees. I'm gonna give them a try too. So cutting them at a 45-degree angle is the best way to go about it. Just so that the branch you leave won't have some water sitting on there, which can produce some rot in the branch. I'm also trying to be intentional about which branches I'm cutting. So either the branches that kind of come out, this is usually grass when it's not snowy. So branches that typically will, you know, poke us in the eye when we're playing in the yard, or the straight up shoots that I'm going to be pruning anyway in the spring. So might as well not waste the good blooms that might turn into fruit. Might as well just, you know, take the branches off that I'm planning to take off anyway. So that was my apple. I wish I could tell you which one it was, which variety of apple, but last year was such a blur. We have about 12 fruit trees in our yard. 12 to 14. And most of them are apple, so it was just a whirlwind. Just trying to keep up with them and decide which ones we loved, which ones we didn't. We did do a massive prune last spring because the property was quite overgrown and it needed a big haircut. So we didn't get the normal amount of you know, fruit that we would have normally got because we did give them such a big cut, but it was worth it. And here is evidence of deer also having their hand at pruning. So yeah, never a dull day when you have deer around. Okay, I'm gonna do my pear now. All right, here are my pear branches, and there's some remnant from last year's. These were quite tasty. We had, I want to say 100 pears at least, or hundreds, and we also had a bear visit us quite often to get these. Delicious pears. We ended up canning quite a few too, with a neighbor and a friend. Yeah, it was great. We loved the pear tree, and so did the bear. Now we are standing in front of the vegetable garden. We have a lot of deer pressure in the area, and they will eat almost anything. So the first thing we did was add the deer fence. Yeah, and it's been great. I don't think they've gotten in. It's not completely fenced, so we did add a bit of bird netting, which was a very temporary fix. And it kept them out for a little bit, but we definitely will have to finish the rest this coming spring. Yeah. So what we did is we built the frame of the fence with pressure treated wood, and then we did a black cattle panel that came in a roll from one of our local hardware stores. And then the gap between the fence panel and the pergola style top is not big enough that the deer could jump through so far. There is one section in the back of the garden that it is quite a big gap, and it's also beside a hill, so I'm not sure if that might tempt them to try and jump in. If it does happen, maybe I'll build some sort of trellis in that gap. Yeah, because it's quite big. Or maybe some sort of vining plant like a clematis or hydrangea, because it doesn't block the sun where that little gap, where the big gap is. So a vining plant would be fine, and it wouldn't shade the vegetables. Yeah, so this was a lot of fun to do, a lot of work as well. I'll put in a picture of what it looked like before. It was weeds and bad soil, 3 or 4 foot high fence, an old chicken coop that was rotten, and yeah, we pretty much started from scratch, I would say. But you know, then you can make it what you want, and yeah, we really enjoyed it. We still need to do a gate. As you can see, we have a temporary just leftover roll piece of the cattle panel. So I'm thinking we might do a double swing gate, because it is quite a big area. Yeah, and probably out of the same material, just to allow all the light in. And I would love a trellis too, and grow some peas or beans over. That would be a nice dream for me in the spring. But we will see. Stay tuned, and I'll be surprised and you'll be surprised what will happen.